I feel like that's probably what Caps has his eyes on. It's an extremely flexible pick as well.
Oh my goodness,
that is
just a Maokai.
Yeah, that is really not quite what I expected.
Is it just Gwen Azir? I mean, Bin was going to play Gwen, and this is giving me nightmares. Like, I needed Gwen to be banned because Bin playing Gwen, like, I actually... Pretty cool, as On is going to lock away the big bad Brad, and Ezreal Bard in this bottom lane once again.
I mean, the Ezreal Bard just feels really good in the lane, and there's so much warping of objective control you could do with his ultimate, as well as... People don't always think about this for Bard. They often think about, okay, he's ranged in the bottom 2v2. Into the Krugs, and this is kind of a cool little tech here. Of course, Bejuan matching on his enemy's Krugs, so a bit of a vertical jungle setup here is spotted.
Yeah, level 2 actually picked up here by Labrov and Hans Sommer as they are looking to come on over and try and dissuade Bejuan from taking everything away. There's a heal being utilized by On just to keep them in this battle. And the reset does actually come on through. Of course, getting this big Krug going to be important. There's the headbutt pole as the smite comes on down, and Bejuan
was out there in the bottom lane.
Yeah. It was just kind of flexing that G2 decided that they'd go in and wait around for so long while that lane was kind of just sacrificed. You can see the result is that Elk is incredibly far ahead. Has been trying to fight back here against Broken Blade, who's having a pretty good time here on this Jax.
As, Labrov lurking.
He is well and truly out of the paddock here, as Elk gonna have to use a headbutt pulverize, an arcane shift, but he's not actually able to get it in the trample. Still gonna be able to lock him down. One more auto will do it, and there it is, Hans Sommer. Yet another first blood here for the AD carry of G2. The Dragon is going to be taken out here as some needlework here from Bin as he pulls the circle around. Great counter-strike here from Broken Blade, but he doesn't quite have lethal damage.
Also, doesn't have a flash disadvantage at the moment, but at the end of the day, the Dragon was not for free. You know, it was a big trade-off here that G2 were able to get in return.
Oh, Bin actually going very aggressive here as they trade the ultimates. The needlework coming down. Remember, there is no flash for Broken Blade, but he finds that the leap strike comes in. The snip is not going to land, and Broken Blade just brings down the lamppost. And that's a solo kill against Bin for BB.
And this is so huge because, you know, I already talked about the lead he had in lane. His hold up.
Yeah, Emperor's Divide comes out from Knight, and the Emperor's Divide comes out from the Emperor himself. It looks pretty good as now On's moved down. Caps gets himself to safety. Labrov's there with the headbutt pulverize. And now Bejuan down to about 100 health, but he's going to be able to walk his way out.
Look for the kill onto Caps. Does not succeed. As watching this again, Broken Blade has a level advantage here initially, but as you mentioned, does have the flash disadvantage. Plays it confidently, goes into the mist here, hits the counter strike. Bin has to stack up his Q here. Broken Blade disengages during that moment, avoids the needlework. And Bin is out of stacks now, and Broken Blade's super confident, right? And Bin's like, this is not the situation I want to be in. If he looks for the auto trade, he fails, has to flash away, and Broken Blade predicts the Q, sidesteps it, and gets the kill.
Yeah, beautifully done.
Very tense moment there because that's the kind of volatility of that matchup where if you don't dodge that Q, the kill goes over to Gwen. We're talking about this in the
I wasn't a huge fan of that one. I like the 0-2-0-3 that Doran showed us.
Broken Blade's going in again.
Yeah, he is looking for the angle. The counter-strike going to go down as On coming on in with the Tempered Fate, but isn't going to be able to find BB this time because he does get the Meep slap. The Magical Journey going to be taken here by BLG as Labrov.
So a lot of good macro here in a pretty tough situation as there's that flanking TP I was talking about. Knight going to look for the angle.
Yeah, flying on over. All right, there's the engage. Skumon down to 50% already as he steals away the Nature's Grasp. There are roots everywhere. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's now Knight right in amongst it. BB gets in there. They're on Bejuan. He's going to be the first target, and down goes the Xin Zhao. That is Feats of Warfare over to G2 and control of this Dragon Pit.
Happy with the exchange. The other TP going to come through here for Labrov as they want to actually set up a dive here onto Bin to give Broken Blade a further lead in this side lane.
All right, Labrov looking for that angle. X-Flash will be up pretty soon, as we know, and now Caps will find On. Emperor's Divide goes down, and On does have the ultimate. Might be able to use it here. Does land it onto Caps, but that Magical Journey is not one that he is allowed to take. That one's back in Soul.
That the volatile top lane matchup, the advantage they have there, pushing that pressure point so hard.
Well, now Cap's going to get jumped on here. Wind becomes lightning. There's the True Shot Barrage as well. Labrov trying to keep it in order, and down goes the Azir. Broken Blade wanting to get amongst it, but this is 4 versus 2, and not something that G2 really want to take. But now Skumon's making his way over. Hans Sommer's there as well. He can call on the hunt. They are moving pretty quickly. He's looking to try and ricochet around this fight. Elk and On it down so incredibly low. As Hansama does manage to lock that one down. Broken Blade looking for On. And now Knight getting back in there with the chains. He knows that he's probably dead, and Hansama is able to flash his way out. Skimon will be able to chase down this Silas, but I don't know whether he's going to be killing him because there is just no damage.
Yeah, not without
is going to go back. Such a great lead, and their composition scales like fine wine, man.
There's no turret here for Ben.
Yeah, he is going to alcove game for a moment. Does get a teleport.
Here, flashes over the walls. We do have something happening in live.
Yeah, Caps getting closed in on here as the Hex Flash going to get channeled. Emperor's Divide pushes Beishuan away from the battle as Caps just shifts the sands, gets himself to relative safety. True Shot Barrage sidestepped really nicely as the Magical Journey is going to get taken. And it's Hansama's waiting boomerang to destroy this Bard. A battle on two fronts now, though, as Labrov gets a nice pulverize to buy some space. As Caps, he can drive Shelly out of this one if he'd like to. That would look a little bit weird as Beishuan going in once again. Hansama will get knocked up. And the 3-Talon Strike working out really well. Now the drive is going to come on through here as hopefully they do not crash Caps' car.
Pushing this turret in the top lane, all G2 need to do is to buy time here for the Azir to pick up a turret and TP into the fight.
Feel like BLG are just going to look to try and start it as quickly as possible as there's the Nature's Grasp. They're looking to lock down Bin, but he's immune. The old Gwen Adage.
But it buys time, and Caps gets that turret. Now he's going to continue to push, and BLG have to make some tough calls here. On in trouble.
Yep, On is just going to get ripped to shreds. Oh, not quite enough there with the Boomerang Blade, but it is going to be the Sapling that burns him down. The immediate trade, though, Jungler for support. You probably take that if you're BLG, and they're looking for even more. Counter-Strike to come down as Broken Blade looking to get out.
Caps.
G2 trading even at this point?
I mean,
Caps,
Caps,
not what they want.
They don't end up, though, TPing Caps in, and he's going to get a second turret there in the top side.
Yeah. Maybe I spoke too soon, as now Hansama is just going to get ripped apart. Elk just looking great now, I believe, just picked up the 2-item spike. I feel like Otacon, like, teams learned that this is like a thing that we should probably not throw our lives away for, but in this tournament, we are throwing our lives away for it again, as instead, this time around, it is BB just trying to destroy everyone that walks towards him. Oh my goodness, that was not the Magical Journey that On was looking for. And Hansama with the On the Hunt is now just going to back his way out. The rest of the team just going to be moving real quick if they'd like to. There's a lot of fog of war here. BLG has to deal with this. There's the flash forward. Headbutt to get Beishuan out of the way, and the Crescent Guard is not guarding against enough. Caps down incredibly low. LeBron, a beautiful pulverize, has now been trying to snip, and dash his way out, and he will be able to stay alive, but they're not going to be anywhere on this map for when G2 wants to take anything they would like.
Yeah, G2 so much vision control around this Baron threat. There's a control ward in the pit. TP flank is going to be a desperation move here for BLG. Knight on the flank.
He does find the angle, though, as now you can see Broken Blade in a lot of trouble. The flash over from Bin as they are getting into the Thunderdome. The Sonya's going to be utilized really nicely, and the Empress Divide as well as On just flashes into point-blank range of Caps, and Hansama just cuts him apart. The Baron is going to deal with Bin. Cue the yakety sax, ladies and gentlemen, as BLG just fall apart at the seams, and G2 say, all right, I guess we'll take this purple worm.
Yeah, it looks like G2 are going to rewrite what happened at MSI and at least strike back here in this second game. We're going the distance tonight, it feels like, as Bejuan looks for a desperation steal, but he's zoned away, and he is going to die as well for his crime.
Yep, there is the Baron secured. They'll take Beishuan as well as the Boomerang Blade comes on through. Labrov with his Pulverize, gonna hold him in place.
I just can't see any way for a comeback to happen now for the side of BLG. TP here for Broken Blade into the side as Elk might just straight up be dead.
The flash forward into a Cosmic Binding. And then Caps dies.
It's okay. Broken Blade is he's gonna two-shot the turret.
Dragon gonna be up in 5 seconds time. It is soul point here for G2. And Finn is just gonna get dove on by this big old Jax. And now Broken Blade moving on over to try and get this last auto attack. There it is, On moving in as well to try and protect Finn. And yeah, Labrov on a great flank angle, but there is a Magical Journey to try and catch him out. He does have an Unbreakable Will, but he decides he's just not going to use it. May have needed to almost, as Elk with another couple of Mystic Shots would have killed him, but they didn't quite have that, as there's the Tempered Fate. It is only on to Caps. as now they all get in. The Emperor's Divide is going to stop it, and the Boomerang Blade is going to be the finishing blow onto On. They take down Caps once again, but Knight into this backline and has nowhere to get out, as now BB and Bin continuing their battle, and Elk trying to hold on to this turret, but I don't think he's going to be able to do so. And G2 will break the base here in Game 2 and look to bring us to a third game once again here in our first day of knockouts at the EWC.
And this is just a dominant performance here from G2. Had some pretty big leads in Game 1, but this was something different. This is very different from the look we saw from this team at MSI just a week ago. And they're bringing us to 3, the full distance here.